Okay, we're gonna go back into the regular session of the regular meeting. So let's get on with the order of business. That's gonna bring us to the clerk's report. Item number, and for the record, it's 6:47 after being broke for light refreshments after swearing in the various officers. So under the clerk's report, item number 1, the presentation of the September 1st, 2020 regular board meeting minutes. Those are presented. Do any board members have any additions or corrections? Seeing none, we need a motion to approve said minutes. Trustee Gray makes a motion, seconded by Trustee Long. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Gray?
Yes.
Trustee Long? Trustee Rockford?
Yes.
Trustee Schultz? Trustee Tim?
So we have 5 members voting yes, none voting no. The minutes are adopted. Item number 2 is the approval of the executive session minutes. Again, I just wanted to discuss those in an open forum. Does anybody see, did you see any additions or corrections? Do not state them. Okay, so we need a motion to approve the executive session minutes. Trustee Rockford signals to make a motion, seconded by Trustee Long. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Trustee Gray?
Yes.
Trustee Long?
Yes.
Trustee Rockford?
Yes.
Trustee Schultz?
Yes.
Trustee Tim?
That's 5 members voting yes, none voting no. Those minutes are adopted. Presentation of the bills is presented. Anybody have any questions regarding the bills? The treasurer is not here this evening, but make sure Stratton can try to answer them as best as possible. Do you have any questions? Okay.
Hello? Yes, sir.
All right.
Questions regarding the bills? We need a motion to pay the bills. Motion has been made by Trustee Gray, seconded by Trustee Schultz. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Gray?
Yes.
Trustee Long?
Yes.
Trustee Rockford?
Yes.
Trustee Schultz?
Yes.
Trustee Tim?
4 members voting yes, none voting no. Those minutes those bills are approved for payment. No treasurer's report this evening, no village engineer's report this evening, he is off this tonight. Legal report, anything under legal, nothing. Village administrator, nothing.
Okay.
It's gonna bring us to the president's report. We have 6 items listed under the president's report. Item number 1.
Okay, I'll keep you posted, okay? Okay, thank you.
So you have an ordinance that actually annexes the property that we just purchased. Would you like, Trustee Tim, I'm gonna reopen it, do you want to be recorded as a yes vote for the payment and approval of the bills?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll change that to 5 members voting yes, none voting no. So item number 1 is the annexation of certain property to the village of Sherman, commonly known as the Bill and Mary Seaman property. The village authorized payment for this property, 6.41 acres to establish and relocate our sewer department and public works department. So that action was taken at the last meeting. Oh, that property actually is not situated within the village of Sherman, so we have an ordinance to actually bring it into the village of Sherman through an annexation. Any discussion?
So there's 3 parcels actually.
3 parcels, yep, 3 parcels that comprise 6.41 acres, right? Comprise 6.41 acres. Counselor, you did this ordinance, right? Yeah. Okay, so Counselor Craven prepared the ordinance. Any questions? No, we need a motion to approve the ordinance. Is there a motion to that effect? Trustee Rockford makes a motion, and she's actually the one that really kind of noticed and pointed out that it wasn't situated right in the middle of Sherman, so she said that. Okay, address that. So Trustee Rockford makes a motion, seconded by Trustee Tim. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Gray?
Yes.
Trustee Long?
Yes.
Trustee Rockford?
Yes.
Trustee Schultz? Trustee Tim?
Yes.
That's 5 members voting yes, none voting no. The annexation of said property is approved. Next ordinance, item number 2, is listed as a labor contract with the Illinois Fraternal Order of Peace, representing the Sherman police officers. We discussed this, you want to explain this real fast?
Okay, you recall that we discussed in a closed session the labor contract with the fraternal order of police, collective bargaining is allowed under the Open Meetings Act. One of the difficulties we've had with the contract was on a renewal year to year, and Jay, you're the head of the police, so you know too, was the recruitment of officers. Last time with the recruitment was extremely difficult to attract officers into the village. So we opened up the agreement with the fraternal order of police that represents our police officers, and we initiated, at the request of the board last time, a wage schedule and a lateral transfer language, which would allow the village to basically entice current certified officers from other agencies, other local agencies, to come work with the Sherman Village Police Department. We believe, and as they believe, that the program that we have put in place will actually provide a volume of individuals who want to come work for the village of Sherman. So we negotiated a wage schedule and that of a lateral language, and the union accepted on Friday afternoon, and we're prepared tonight to enter into a 3-year contract. Now, as you know, we're on 1-year extensions right now, so we can figure all these things out. This will give us a 3-year contract.
And it goes hand in hand with the approval of the salary ordinance for certain employees.
Yes,
So that's
that's the only-
That's the second, that's what that is, and it's tied to this overall initiative.
Yep.
We really need to get this lateral language in the contract, and so, and plus we needed to boost these salaries so that we can, like the administrator said, attract other officers, especially with larger departments and increased retirements and things that are happening in policing. People even, buying out their time and leaving early just to get out of the field or whatever. And then pulling from exceptional departments like the Village of Sherman that has been a breeding ground for the other departments, which is is flattering and a testament to everything that the chief and the deputy chiefs do, and our officers, but it's also a burden on us as a village to have to fill these positions and then not have this lateral language in there. So it's either just, and based on the collective bargaining agreement, you're just starting at the beginning, you're starting at the bottom of the scale. And if you've been in policing for any number of years, whether it's 2 years or 7 years, you're not gonna go back and start, from scratch and take a salary cut or whatever. So we need to boost the salaries even more than what we've done over a period of time, and then also get this lateral language put in there so that we can gain these officers that are already certified, not have to sit in training. So any discussion, anybody want to add anything to it? Trustee Tim's been integral in all of this and a part of the discussions. And then, like the Administrator said, we discussed this in open the closed session regarding what we're going to do with the contract, which is permitted. So, all right, we need a motion from the floor, and the public safety trustee Tim makes a motion to adopt the labor contract with the Illinois Fraternal Order of Police representing our Sherman police officers. Is there a second? Trustee Long will second that motion, and we will ask for a roll call vote.
Trustee Gray?
Yes.
Trustee Long?
Yes.
Trustee Rockford?
Yes.
Trustee Schultz?
Yes.
Trustee Tim?
Yes.
And then, as village president, I'll be asking to be recorded as a yes as well, so that's 6 members voting yes, none voting no. The measure is adopted. Item number 3, as stated, I'm not going to go into it, it's the approval of the actual salary ordinance that we discussed for those certain employees. Do we want to, Trustee Tim, you want to make a motion for said
Yes.
ordinance? Trustee Tim makes a motion for item number 3. Is there a second? Seconded by Trustee Rockford. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Gray?
Yes.
Trustee Long?
Yes.
Trustee Rockford?
Yes.
Trustee Schultz?
Yes.
Trustee Tim?
Yes.
And then again, as village president, the measure having received a favorable majority, I'd like to be recorded as a yes vote as well. So that's 6 members voting yes, none voting no. The measure is adopted. Item number 4 and item number 5, those two are going to go hand in hand. We've sent out information regarding this, talked to everybody individually over a period of time, and we've worked on this ordinance for some time. But this ordinance is before us. I'm gonna read it into the record. It's the responsible bidder ordinance, and then item number 5 is the project labor agreement. So, any discussion regarding, we'll take a motion from the floor on item number 4, the responsible bidder ordinance that sits on the table. Is there a motion to that effect? Trustee Gray makes a motion, seconded by Trustee Tim. Any discussion? Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Gray.
Yes.
Trustee Long.
Yes.
Trustee Rockford.
Yes.
Trustee Schultz.
Yes.
Trustee Tim.
Yes.
And then as village president, I'd like to be recorded as a voting on the prevailing side in solidarity with the board. So that's 6 members voting yes, none voting no. That measure and ordinance is adopted. Item number 5 is the project labor agreement that goes along with that. Any discussion regarding that? As I already stated. Same, Trustee Gray will make a motion to approve said ordinance. Is there a second? Trustee Long will second that motion. Any discussion? Seeing none, clerk, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Gray.
Yes.
Trustee Long.
Yes.
Trustee Rockford.
Yes.
Trustee Schultz.
Yes.
Trustee Tim.
Yes.
And again, in solidarity with the Board of Trustees members, I'd like to be recorded as voting yes, as permitted under statute regarding it having a favorable vote. So 6 members voting yes, 1 voting no. The measure is adopted and approved. Item number 6, the approval of the sale of real estate. Okay, everybody has it. So, there's a lot of stuff happening, right, in our village. We've got a lot of big things that have happened, that are happening, and are going to happen in the very near future. We already talked about this. This was a real estate negotiation and transaction, so we discussed it in executive session, because it was negotiation. This was the sale of certain property that the village has. Some time ago, the village was given for $1 the old Illini Bank building, and there was a tract of land behind it that's substantial, and there's some lower ground that is contiguous to the One Stop Auto Shop. One Stop Auto Shop is having very good success, even in times of COVID in 2020, and their business is booming to the point where there are so many cars over there that they're having parking issues. So we have some lower ground behind the police department that we don't foresee using anytime in the near future, as we have high ground right behind it that is large enough to accommodate a potential building or a carport or anything along those lines to house our police vehicles. But that low ground, again, is contiguous to One Stop Auto Shop and would allow them to park cars in that area, not all of it. We're selling a 100 by 150 feet rectangle of that ground back there to One Stop Auto, Tom Holland's head's business, for the sum of $45,000. That $45,000 will go into the general revenue fund. I think it works out to somewhere around $275 a square foot or something like that. But Tom Holland's head's looking for us to move forward on this, and it's a win for the village, and it's a win for them. It keeps and helps our local businesses, and it continues to help them thrive, and the more things that are sold over there, the better the business. I mean, we're getting sales tax revenue, and it's good all around. So that being said, is there any discussion regarding this parcel? This will allow us to actually, I was out there last Thursday with our engineering firm, Hans, what is it?
Düsseldorf.
Yeah, Düsseldorf, to actually have him do the survey and stuff. So I'm gonna bring back to the board some even more detailed kind of sketches and plans of even where we could set up building back there to house police vehicles. The other thing that had come up in all of this is keeping a little piece down there as well for us on that low ground that would be sufficient for us to actually start administrating and doing our own impounding of vehicles. Right now, when police department, and this was a suggestion of time, Sergeant and Trainer, when I was just talking to him and spitballing, and he said, hey, we can potentially look at doing that ourselves, and that's a revenue stream. So there's a piece down there that we would keep, and we could start getting into impound, actually doing the impounds ourselves and holding those vehicles, and then when somebody pays to get those out, that actually those revenues come to us as opposed to some other impound lot. So there'd be a little bit of administrative duties associated with it, and if somebody didn't want to, pay for the vehicle to get out or whatever it was that was impounded, you'd have to go through some paperwork process to actually somewhat seize or acquire that vehicle and then sell it on your own, because some people obviously make the decision that if it's cost me this to get it out, it's only worth this, and you can have it, right? So, but we'll keep that little piece down there and sell this parcel to One Stop Auto, and they'll move forward. We'll put $45,000 into the general fund that we can use for other purposes, and it's a win-win for everybody. Any discussion? No? Okay, so is there a motion to approve the ordinance authorizing the sale of real property, One Stop Holdings LLC, to One Stop Holdings LLC? Motion to that effect? Trustee Rockford makes a motion. Is there a second? Seconded by Trustee Schultz. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Gregg?
Yes.
Trustee Long?
Yes.
Trustee Rockford?
Yes.
Trustee Schultz?
Yes.
Trustee Tim?
Yes.
All right, and again, in solidarity with the Board of Trustees, I will ask that I be recorded as a yes vote on the prevailing side as well. So, that's 6 members voting yes, none voting no. That measure is adopted and approved. I will get with Mr. Hollinshead and try and get that transaction moving forward. Committee department reports. Anybody anything under committees, notes? Police department, chief, we've already, where's chief? Anything to report out outside of all the other stuff? Sherman Emergency Management, Director Mike Lowe's.
I had numerous things to bring to your attention, but I think in talking to Sean, he's going to be able to discuss it on behalf of the chamber under a civic organization. So that really shortens my presentation. Couple things in regards to the census, and that is we're now up to 86.9%, still second place in the county. They are continuing, that was updated on the website today, and they'll be going through the month, making direct contacts to people that haven't fulfilled their obligations, and hopefully we'll get that number a little higher. We are going to be putting out a notice on e-alert, just a heads up, on Thursday in regards to the road striping that's going to be occurring on Meredith. It's already on the website under a news section, but we're going to do a little blurb to try to make that more aware to the public and things to be a little safer than hopefully for everybody. And then the last item to mention is that the bill has contacted us to hold a tabletop exercise that required now annually to do a exercising, and they requested emergency management to coordinate it and work with police and fire department to get us all together and then let out an exercise. That's all I have.
Any questions of Mr. Moses? Nothing? Thank you, Mike. Thank you for everything that you do. Public Works has the evening off. Oh, yeah, right. One thing Mike, you actually raised a good issue that I wanted to tell the board about real quick. So Administrator Stratton contacted an individual with the payer union, right? Anyway, so he's actually been out restriping all of the faded paint areas around town. I asked everybody to just go drive through Village Park for one example of how, like, older concrete, just by being restriped with the faded out paint on there, how much more can just be brought to life and look stunning and almost like back to brand new. So he's painted all the arrows, the handicap areas, put some handicap signs up for us, all the parking stripes. Actually went down through the development and everything down there. I drove it yesterday. it's unbelievable. And so we're actually even having to paint some stop bars, so we had to put those, here, did it? This guy's fast.
This guy's really quick.
Yeah.
This guy's amazing. So, anyway, we put the sticky adhesive stop bars down in some various areas throughout town where stop signs were put up, or intersections that we thought needed these to define them a little better because of, just them being more dangerous or whatever. So in lieu of that, waiting on that material and having to heat them up and have the proper temperature, all the temperatures and stuff, Administrator Stratton just, had sent him out to go paint these areas. It's getting done like that. It's allowing our public works guys to just go do other projects, it's short of doing that stuff. So glad you raised that point, but we're actually administratively like, he's getting just moving and shaking on lots of different stuff. I mean, look at it, some crosswalks, it's in areas where, kids and families cross those.
Bill, you mentioned earlier about the energy and having this guy come forward, he's been so quick, but what about that skag going around?
Oh, yeah, and so here's another thing that's gonna happen tomorrow, and I have to talk to some of you, but, so I saw, the head of the operators union today, and he was doing a different kind of charitable donation for a food drive that's gonna happen tomorrow. They literally had one of these large forklift picking machines, brought from their training site, it's way out by past Rochester. And so the guys out, anyway, Brett pulled up and I had said, what about getting that over out in the village of Sherman or whatever? And literally, he's like, yeah, we could do that for you. And so, literally, he got in his vehicle with his guy and drove out and looked at the large boulders that are situated on the southern part of the property that the Saps own. And we talked about this has been, I'd already asked for this favor for some time or whatever, but it all came together today and materialized. So he ran out there, I called Mike, he didn't answer a couple times on his phone, so I called Taylor, I said, tell Mike to get off the phone right now. I was like, I need to talk to him. So I called, he got on the phone, I said, Mike, stop everything you're doing right now. I said, Brett Skaggs is coming out to the park, please go meet him over there. He's gonna move those boulders for us, bring that large machine out there. We're talking about these boulders, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 1,000 pounds or whatever. And he's gonna take them all from down on that southern end and place them, as we've been talking, along the curve on Old Tipton School Road that would act as a decorative rock outcropping, but also serve to, stop a car that may go off the road and get near or in our park or by the playground. So we already have plans to put some bollards through there, and they're gonna do those for us for free as well. We're gonna put an auger on their skid steer, drill all those holes. If we want a guardrail, or if we just want, nice bollards post with decorative sleeves on them, or whatever we ultimately decide, all free. All thanks to operating engineers, local 965, and their guys, and Brett's, and definitely, Brett Skaggs, so.
And Larry Sapp from donating all the rocks.
Larry Sapp, yeah.
The rocks alone are very, very expensive.
Oh, if we were buying them, they'd be
$1,000.
tons of money. I literally told Larry again when I met with him, a week and a half ago, we're gonna get those rocks. He said, that's fine, whatever, so it's an unbelievable donation from them as well.
Well, this is also a part of the landscape plan on the north side of the playground as
Yeah.
well, so
That copper
fit
is
that
working
feature
on.
is perfect.
So, lots of stuff happening, and lots of things going to happen. And a lot of thank yous that we need to have out there, and a lot of dollars that we're saving because of people that are really stepping up. So, I got another big, huge announcement that we're gonna be making, but not this evening, so, at a future meeting, but it's gonna be very big. So, okay. Nothing else? Oh, it brings us to new business. There's new business before the board. Bringing us to old business. There's no old business before the board this evening. Civic organizations.
Yeah, I will real quick. Chamber, we've got a blood drive coming up next Monday at Farm Credit, 21st, 3 to 6. Please stop by for that. And then my last thing, as president of the chamber, this is my last month, but we have a Zoom conference call with Senator Bill Brady on the 29th at 11:30. All are welcome to join. He's looking for discussion on the local impact of COVID-19 on businesses. So,
Okay.
that's it.
And the state has just released
More funds.
funds for our local businesses who have been harmed by this, and it'll actually extend it to more businesses that have not already applied for assistance, so we hope that some local business will take advantage of that. We're working closely with the chamber and Mike Mose, in order to, put that information out to the businesses and see if they're interested in doing that. All goes through DC.
Okay. That's gonna bring us to the public comment period, and we have 2 individuals who have signed in to speak this evening. There was a bunch of individuals who signed in, but they were family members of the officers being sworn in, and they vacated the chamber. So, that being said, the first individual who, and we're not gonna, there's no executive session this evening, so we're gonna fly past that and adjourn after the public comment period. So I'd ask Mrs. Walden, Amber Walden, to please come forward, and you can address the board under the board comment policy, which you already know. It's like 3 minutes. The floor will be yours.
I just wanted to know where we were with the lady next door to us that you guys sent the letter to, giving her till July 25th to come and do compliance or whatever. As you know, she hasn't. The dogs are still there. In fact, it sounds like a kennel, which it is basically. And they're still there. They're still doing their business in the backyard. She's still not cleaning it up. So I wondered if you were going to follow through with your threat to sue her or to take further action against her, because obviously nothing's getting done.
That's more of a legal question.
It's on the list. You keep coming up with other things for me to do.
All right. These guys are, you need to contact them.
I've seen it. It's on me. I've just been busy with other
Okay.
things.
Because, if nothing's done, then she'll get the impression that, oh, I don't have to do anything because they never follow through anyway. So, if you don't follow through with what you said you were going to in a legal letter, then that's not sending a very good message to her. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, the next individual, Mrs. Susan Dessing, has reached out and asked to present to the board, and so.
And we had a good conversation, you and I.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and this is Marcy Boraski, she's a neighbor. I guess my question is to you, since I was the one that went out to get all these names to get those stop signs put in, has actually been a detriment to us.
Can I stop you? Can I stop the time still? I wanna let the board know exactly what we're talking about actually, kind of real quick 101. So, Ms. Dessing, you guys all know that there was a measure that came before the board, basically a petition signatures, and Administrator Stratton has fielded a number of calls and complaints and concerns over a long period of time, myself included, and then we all know that there was issues with Old Tipton School Road and the speed of travel along that, and just all the various different concerns along those lines. And then when we repaved the road, I think it also is smooth and it creates.
It's a drag strip.
Creates a drag strip, so it's the
It
catch
still
22.
does.
Right, so it's a catch 22, like when it was almost looking like a third world country, shouldn't say third world, but kind of potholes bombed out, all this different rough terrain. It may have served the slow vehicles a little bit more, but now that it's as smooth as ice, there has been, and it's been like, because we repaved that a couple years ago, there has been concerns about the speed of travel of individuals going up and down that road.
We were concerned because of the children.
Right, exactly.
Bicycling, trying to get to
Yeah.
the park, families, especially with COVID. So I thought, oh, it'd be a great idea to call. We said you had other complaints of people driving fast. So I said, okay, I'll go around the subdivision and get that. I wish I hadn't.
Mhm.
The other neighbors are wishing I hadn't either. They're upset. We're all upset because everybody stops at there. No, some stop, some still go through, and some just maybe go through. But then, we don't have anybody with mufflers on their vehicles anymore, or we have the great big can mufflers. So we get all of that. We can't sit on our back porch, them included, and enjoy it. I've talked to all the Evergreen, not all of Evergreen, but it's wearing on our nerves. And
I just have a question, like what, because they are stopping?
they're stopping and then they barrel it, and they drag strip to the next stop sign.
Oh.
So we get the brunt of all the noise, and no one can put mufflers on their vehicles anymore, and we have to scream the guts out of them to get to the next stop sign. And I know I'm being a little bit, but not really, because we hear it and it just wears on you. So my question is to you, what can you do to quiet the extreme noise? Do we not have a noise ordinance? Is it not being enforced? And is there not tickets given out for these noisy vehicles? Should they get new mufflers? What can you do for us?
Here's what I think right now, in terms of what can be done in the here and now, would be to increase police patrols in the area, or even have squad cars sit in that area. You put the speed feedback trailer in that area as well, knowing that that's not the actual issue that you're talking about, but you do see varied levels of additional compliance when you put that speed feedback trailer out and you actually show people's speeds, and they think that there is a potential, ramification for speeding in that area. Maybe, they don't know if they're getting a mailed ticket or whatever. Additional enforcement in terms of, like I said, posting police officers in that area, them actually witnessing and hearing, a
Can I ask a
loud
question?
pop muffler or pipe outside of the.
Because we don't have, and I don't mean disrespectful and be disrespectful, but because of all the change I saw here tonight,
Mhm.
is that why we're not seeing our police on these streets to enforce?
Oh, no, absolutely not. No, I mean,
We don't see them.
huh?
We don't see them. I was out there all day long on my patio, not once did I see a police officer.
Well-
I've seen a couple blow the stop sign, didn't even slow down, just, I don't know.
Police officers?
Mhm.
So we're really disgruntled here, and it says, and then I'm kind of wondering,
No,
are those stop signs really
No,
needed?
take 'em out.
Take them out.
well, it's a bigger deal just to take them out. Not that it couldn't be done, but it's a bigger deal to just take them out as opposed to try some various different enforcement mechanisms for, see, and I gotta tell you also, like, I'm also getting the other side of it is people are adapting to them now, and they're telling me that they like them as well. Now, they don't live backed up to that,
Exactly.
right? But I've seen, and I gotta tell you, these guys and the board members have seen this. Stop signs are a very divisive issue. You wouldn't probably think that they are, but like when you sit and serve in these positions, I've seen it even when I was a trustee. And we had individuals in Flagland that came in and complained about, the speed of travel and the cars in the area and stuff like that. And I think it might even be the former mayor at that time, or maybe it was me, but they said, when we post a vehicle in that area, or we put these stop signs up, and the people that are traveling that area typically live there. When we start writing tickets, it's going to be to the people that are actually there. And it was the
Good.
very person that
Good.
actually,
I mean,
well, the very person that came in actually got, pulled over for,
If I speed, then that's what I
yeah.
deserve. But if I have a loud muffler,
Yeah.
and I mean to tell you, we're talking loud.
Mhm.
And a few of the neighbors, I think, are mad at me, which I really wish I wouldn't have been put in that spot,
Mhm.
because they wish they'd never signed
Mhm.
the petition.
Yeah.
And now that's causing problems, not problems, I think they're trying to be bigger people, but they said, they've got little kids, so the noise for the little ones, they can't even play playing in their backyard because of the noise.
Mhm.
We can't even sit out
We
and
can't
visit,
have a conversation, there's too much
too much noise.
car.
And then,
Here's what I think we can do right now, outside of, like, just pulling them out, because, like I said, this is literally has flipped. The individuals that didn't want it from, and I come across a lot of people, you know, and people that I know in Sherman, that I say, stop signs are very divisive. There's a few issues that just cut right down the middle. And so the people who hated them and didn't want them in and would razz me or just say that that was a dumb decision, why did you do that, and, all of this stuff, are now actually, some of them, I mean, when I've seen them around town in passing, these signs are actually doing some good, and I like them now, and I adapted to them and stuff like that. What I think is happening right now is that we need to post some squad cars in that area and do
I can
some
tell you
targeted
the
details.
hours that are the worst.
That's what we need to do. So we need to, because you're the boots on the ground. You know better than anybody right
I
now.
have an alarm clock that goes off every day at 6:30.
Mhm.
Wakes up the whole neighborhood. He
Mhm.
takes out of there and he just barrels it.
Well, I mean, so we need to communicate, have you communicate with Chief Banger after this meeting, and I think that there's just a lot of other factors that are going on right now too. People are pent up, they're doing different stuff that they, there's like more, somewhat civil unrest and just the way that
I
they're
know.
driving, the things that we're seeing,
But still,
and we're winding summer down right now. So if, this is what I would propose, and, because like I said, it's kind of a big deal to just put them up and take them down. This is what I would ask, is that we step up our patrols and step up our details in that area, have a cop sitting at your intersection in Old Tip, and watch these vehicles and mitigate it. You tell us the high time, the high times of when you're experiencing this stuff. We'll try and get over there as best we possibly can. Now, our department is a small police department, and yes, there is a somewhat small factor in the fact that, when we have some, people move on to other positions, it creates somewhat of a void. But we're still 24/7, 24 hours, 7-day-a-week police coverage. There's a police officer or police officers on duty at all times. So they can be there and they are there, but it's a big town, right? So they gotta drive around and do other areas and stuff like that. So we put some police officers in that area more frequently. You tell us when you think it's happening more often, and then we address it like that. And then if you see and you think that once the nice weather and all this stuff, subsides and we get into winter and it's still happening, let us know, and we'll reevaluate it. We'll talk to the engineering firm about what measures and things that we would need to do essentially to just take stop signs down.
and then, I hate to say it, they're mad, people are mad.
Mhm.
Some people are mad that those stop signs are there.
Oh, I don't disagree
They're
with you.
mad.
Absolutely.
And so
I
we're
told you,
getting-
it's divisive.
We're getting the brunt, but
Remember when I told you like about circulating the petition and like my hesitancy, it's like,
yeah,
we don't just stick stop signs up. That's why I said, if Old Tip and other stop signs in Old Tip, like you guys didn't have stop signs in Old Tip at every one of those
that's
intersections.
what I hear.
Huh?
That's what I hear. I mean,
But
we came in
we
late.
had some people in there and on the homeowners association at the time, and I told them the same thing. I said, you guys gotta give us the political cover and capital in order to put stop signs up, because these are divisive issues. People get very mad when you put stop signs up, and people get very happy when you put them up. So let us know that the subdivision actually wants them, not just a couple people. And so that's when I said, like, when we had our conversations, if you guys think that these are going to help the situation along Old Tip and slow the traffic and,
I
stuff
thought
like that.
that would be wonderful, but then we're getting all this noise,
Yeah.
it's just because we're taking off and going this way, we're taking off, going that way,
Mhm.
and they do.
You can see the rubber marks. on the
Yeah.
road.
Mhm.
And the thing is, they're going fast down around the park,
And that's,
That scares us.
yes. for the
well, and
children.
and that's what I talked about earlier too.
The rocks.
Yeah, putting those out there, we're putting a fence up, and we're also putting a guardrail up or concrete bollards too.
And should there be another stop sign at that one road before you make the curve?
We talked about that, we looked at that, but again, when we it was some hesitancy to actually even put the second stop sign down
St. John's.
at St. John's, because we know what it does to people.
Mhm.
I mean, I had, like, former state reps saying, you know, I had a lot of people like, that don't like the stop signs just as much as people like the stop signs.
Well, and the
You know.
thing is, when you don't have a stop sign, then you just, you don't hear the taking off
Mhm.
with the loud mufflers and the craziness and all of that. So I think we're just at our wits' end.
And, yeah, and we hear you, I hear you. The only thing in like, in my position, in our positions is that you can't just put stop signs up and then take them down and like not create some other liability issues and things like that, because, and that's, we try to define those intersections even better, because when we put the stop signs up and had the flags on them, you know, people were still rolling through
They
them,
still
because it was
are.
something so new to them.
And they were put in June 29th,
Mm-hmm.
and they're still, some people don't even see it.
I mean, here's, and so, I mean, we hear it like from all angles.
Yeah.
So we had one individual along that road and trying to define that intersection, you know, saying that, we're trying to, you know, we're gonna put the stop signs in, and we're gonna put the stop bars down, and we're gonna even put the LED flashing, just a little bitty tiny lights around the LED stop signs to make it even more prevalent. Well, we got an email back that said, I don't want to look at a flashing stop sign, you know, the stop signs are great, but I don't wanna look at the LED flashing lights, you know, from my house or whatever. So, a lot of times, you know, you can't win for losing and vice
Right.
versa or whatever. But the stop signs are in now, and we need to try some other mitigation measures
And I
and
agree.
procedures to try
I
and help you
understand.
guys out.
Yes, that would be appreciated.
Yeah, in lieu of like the nuclear option.
No through traffic.
Oh.
Cause I mean, like, I hear you, we hear you, but
Can you
if
cut-
if you think about like us putting, that's one of the highest traveled roads in Sherman, and we put stop signs up on June 29th,
Uh-huh.
and it's September 15th, and we're taking them down, we're gonna get a barrage of, and I know I'm going to, because I sit in this position, but I'm gonna get hammered just on the flip side of that, like, why would you even do that, blah, blah, blah.
Is
So,
Old Tip
it's a village road, but a
that
state route.
can you do like just through traffic, like residential traffic only?
Well, the stop signs have actually, this is the other flip side of it, right? Some of the board members know this. So we put the stop signs up, right? Well, what's the adverse effect on that? Then St. John's became the through road.
Uh-huh, we heard about that.
Okay, so now we have a petition that lies before the board from residents and citizens that live on St. John's and, what's the? Stardust.
Uh-huh.
Seeking a stop sign. And we've put the speed feedback trailer over there, and the studies are mixed on what we should do, putting it like, so it's basically gonna become a board decision. And so, but I will go back to telling you that the will of the people weighs the heaviest. And so with that petition sitting there, and the individuals that live over there, there's a high likelihood that we're gonna put those stop signs up for those individuals, knowing that they could potentially be coming right back here in a few months saying, that was the wrong decision, right?
I
So,
know, it's. not
My plea would be, let us try, call us anytime and every time. Call the chief, police department, even the duty phone.
I would
We'll
have
get
to
with you.
call him
And-
8 hours a day,
Yeah.
every hour.
Well, we can't sit over, and I just want to put this out there right now, we're not gonna be able to sit there just because of manning and everything else
I
that's
get
going
it,
on.
I get it, but I think the
Yeah.
fear of God or
Well-
something needs to be put in some of these constant violators.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that can be done. And the frequency of how often we're in that area, we're in that proximity, and us running up and down that, will
Well, there's.
have a, you know, somewhat of a Freudian in the back of your mind thought, if you actually do live in that area and travel that a lot, if you see our officer in that area a lot, you're gonna think twice about ripping and tearing to the next stop
We
sign.
really thought that this would divert,
Pavlov, whatever, yeah.
we thought it would divert the traffic, really. We thought it would divert the traffic so they wouldn't have to stop. I think it's increased it
Yeah.
because they're mad.
That's because they're all stopping and going.
Yeah.
I, we've had so many stop in the middle of the intersection
Yeah.
that it just, and they look back.
Mhm.
Right. So,
That can happen anyway, 'cause I mean, when we put the stop sign on First Street there, it's just like you're not used to a stop sign.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, I almost
And
ran
that
it.
happens, I mean.
I
And that's why when we
almost
did
ran
it, we like, weren't writing tickets, right? It was so
Yeah.
new. People have traveled that road for 20, 30, 40 years and never had a stop sign. And
Well,
then
and
they
then
get a
you-
stop sign and they may blow it or whatever. And that's why we tried to make it a little more prevalent with the flags and the stop
well,
bars
and
stuff.
again, you got kids on bikes, you got families on bikes.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't have to worry about those families, but you see it and you just think, what could happen?
I don't want to be sitting out on my back porch and see
A little one.
a little
kid.
one get.
Well, soon enough, you're probably not gonna see them on the roads. And I'll leave it at that, but it's gonna be something that happens. And we're gonna take care of that issue and enhance and,
Well, I was just gonna say, there's kind of the word out, I'm hearing it from ISP and others. I mean, tickets are written, right? Because ISP is not writing the tickets because of COVID as much. They don't want to deal with it. Yeah, they don't want to pull over anybody. So I'm thinking, is that what's happening in the local?
no, I mean, we'll pull you over, right? No, I can tell you this right now, I mean, the county, the same county sheriff's office is doing actual details. The city of Springfield is doing traffic details. I had a friend last night who's a county deputy call me and tell me about a ticket that he wrote last night of a young kid that was driving extremely fast and, only had his license for a few months. I said, yeah, you may have saved that kid's life and, others' lives in the future. He's gonna think twice about driving that fast or whatever. There's definitely details being ran. State police had up in Peoria, a roadside safety check on Saturday night. So I actually drove through that. So they're out doing stuff. I think that COVID stuff and stuff like that was months ago. Now there's somewhat total engagement if
Then
and when needed.
I'll go away with hoping that things get enforced and we quiet down.
Yeah,
I'll give it a month.
yeah,
So we can't stand out there and yell at them.
you can.
I do in my neighborhood.
Well, the thing is though, in today's world,
Mhm.
you're liable to get shot.
You can yell back.
Yeah, or worse,
Yeah.
Very
you
true.
know,
You might learn some new words.
but you just don't know what crazies are out there that's just gonna
Mhm.
shoot you,
Yeah.
so.
So let's try that for now.
Okay.
And then you keep us informed and you let us know what you're seeing, what you're hearing.
times.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. So,
Yeah,
and you text me and I text you back and stuff like that.
yeah,
so.
and I
And you
appreciate.
can call me anytime,
I
obviously.
appreciate you listening.
Yeah.
Cause we get to the point where it's like, so,
Yeah,
yeah. And to be honest, that makes our property, value go down, because I'll tell you why, I would never build where I'm at now,
Oh my gosh.
and they wouldn't either.
yeah,
That's how bad it is.
okay.
I would make sure it was in, I was in part of that.
Yeah.
Some further,
Yeah. Thank you for your time, all of you.
Thank you.
Absolutely,
Appreciate it.
yeah. We'll work together and see if we can get something figured out. and,
All right. Thank you.
Thank you for coming up.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's gonna conclude the public comment period and bring us to the adjournment resolution. So is there any further business coming before the board? Anybody have anything? So we need a motion to adjourn. Is there a motion to that effect? Trustee Schultz makes a motion, Trustee Gray seconds it. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it. We're adjourned at 7:36.
You want these guys?